republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everybody to the Monday, July 17th, 9:30 a.m. work session of the Southampton Town Board of Trustees. I will ask for the roll call.
Scott M. Horwitz, President.
Here.
William Pell, Treasurer, Secretary, Present. Edward J. Warner is not here. Ann Walker.
Here.
William Parrish.
Present.
Present, okay.
We ready to go?
All right, let's get right into it. It's going to be a very busy day, a lot going on with weather events and a lot of things happening. Laura McKenzie, 6 Feedack Lane, East Quogue is the first. Come on up, or you want to sit here or there or there or here, whichever you like. It's fine. Sit right there. We have a sign-in sheet here.
Yes, up there on the podium. Sorry.
Yeah, it's over there. If you could grab
What is
that.
this stuff right here?
I don't know what this
Bring it
stuff
up
is.
there, leave it here.
You can bring it here, actually.
Is this for us today?
I don't know what this is.
I don't know.
She's brought that up.
No, other stuff on here.
Oh.
Was
With the
this here
box.
when we sat down?
Yeah, this was here, yeah.
Oh,
No,
let's
just,
move it.
gotta move it? Okay.
Yeah, this was here. I don't know, somebody else's stuff.
Thanks, Ann.
All right. That's good, thank you. Thank you. All right, if you can state your name for the record.
Laura McKenzie.
Jeez. Okay. Got your application here. You want to replace storm damaged existing floating docks on Dave's Creek. You have 2 existing floating wooden docks, 6 by 20, replaced by 3 connecting easy float dock systems. What is that?
6 by 10 feet each.
6
so
by
3
10.
6 by 10.
Sorry, here's this'll make it easier. One was measured in feet and one is in inches, is how they sell them. So what I'm proposing to do, and first of all, just if this is helpful, I bought the property 2 years ago. The docks had not been touched or repaired. And over the 4th of July weekend, one of my son's friends' foot went straight through a
Right to the
plank,
end.
so it's a real safety hazard
Yeah,
right
gotcha.
now. And so what I'm proposing to do is replace it with the Easy Float system, which are much more durable and I believe acceptable.
Yeah.
And use 3 pieces instead of 4, which actually lessens my footprint out into the creek.
Right, but
And do you have a permit for these already? Did you buy this house with a permit for these floats?
The floats are permitted, the dock is permitted, the floats are permitted, and just
Do you have
as
a
a,
copy of that?
so as a separate, when I purchased the property, there were a number of elements that over 20 and 30 years had never been legalized and the prior owner had not done so. So I've been working for the past year with the Conservation Department with Marty Shea to legalize all the outstanding pieces. I received that,
But we're.
Approval.
but they wouldn't approve that.
no, and for the rest of it, I
Well, we
received
don't
that.
care
in June.
about that. I'm asking just about the floats, the permits. Do you have a copy of the permit? for
I
the
do
floats?
not have a copy of that with me.
Right.
It is permitted, and it's part of the
Can you look that
original
up?
1977.
It's not right now.
Okay.
It's part of
Right.
the original 1977 approved permit for the building of the house.
Okay, so we're gonna need that.
Gonna need that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna need that. Yeah. Because this is like over what we permit. We go 20 feet, right, 6 by 20.
Mhm.
So you're over that. So we don't have, we could do 6 by 20. But we have to locate this historical permit,
Okay.
You have to dig it out unless you
Right.
have it.
I've got a copy of it at home.
right? Because we haven't been able to put our hands on it. We'd have to do a lot of research ourselves. If you're saying you've already done that, you
Yeah.
get us a copy of that?
I
You didn't bring
got
it?
all of that documentation when I worked with Marty.
Yeah. Yeah, because that'll be very easy.
Yeah,
for
we
us.
need that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna
Easier
put
for
this
you.
on hold until we can locate that. Otherwise,
Is there anything else that we're gonna
you know what? Is storm damage existing floating docks? No, that's really what it hinges on. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
hinges on.
They're
So
in
we-
danger.
Right, yeah, so we have to go by permitting, following our rules and regulations. So
understood.
if we were doing this today, we'd go by the current, but you're saying you have historical. Without having that, and we haven't been able to locate that, let's put it on hold and
Okay.
let's do a little more research.
So just when you're saying 6 by 20,
That's what our Blue Book regulations say.
Yes.
out into the creek?
No,
I
this
just
is
want to
the
make
size
Just the
of
sure.
float
One
itself, float itself.
6 by 27. You have right now 3 floats?
No, but so the 3 floats, can I have the paper back that I just gave you?
Where'd it go?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. So I'm actually bringing it in.
No, it's the floats itself.
Floats themselves.
They're smaller.
No, it's,
We-
it's, you're only allowed to have a 6 by 20
So
float.
the
You can be
T,
smaller, but you can't have more than 6 by 20. You can split the 6 by 20 up 5 times, but you can only have 6 by 20 squared.
But
Right,
it will be smaller. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but if, as long as we can show that that was prior permitted, so we don't have that information there.
Understand.
Right, so
that.
that's where we're going.
I
You're-
just want to make sure if
Right,
what
but
I'm
you're-
proposing is,
If you
Well,
have a prior
it's
permit-
not larger than what
No,
is there
if you
right
have a
now.
prior permit, it's fine. If
Okay.
you don't have a prior permit,
Okay.
then we have to go, like Scott said, we have to go by today's rules.
Yep.
That it can't be no larger than a 6 by 20 float.
The other thing is, yeah.
Currently
we-
have 2 6x20s to
Right.
make it out.
Right, exactly
Right,
right.
we,
Technically, what you have now is out of conformance with
correct.
their regulations.
Okay.
So if you don't have a permit for that,
Yep.
then they're not gonna allow that essentially.
Okay.
If you do have a permit, then they may be willing to reconstruct the way that it was permitted back in the
Right,
'70s.
we can't,
But without the knowing that, they
Deviate
can't
from-
make a
No,
decision.
understand
right,
that.
right, and we really,
James, can you pull the cover sheet back up? I just
Mhm.
want to see what's proposed here. Thank
yeah,
you.
we really, we can't go any further until we have this information.
So if I just had the one 6 by 20 that's parallel to the creek, that sits on the creek, instead of the T?
Yeah, I
Yeah, if
mean,
you did if you did a, the ramp down to a 6x20,
Yeah.
that would meet their regulations today, so they would be able to approve that.
Right.
So
But-
if I altered it to just get the 2 pieces to 6 by 20 and did away with the parallel, the perpendicular float, could we approve that today?
So if you did a 6x10 and a 6x10 next to each other,
Right.
that would
I mean,
be
but-
6x20.
Right, and the
Right,
gang
with the
plank would
ramp.
go straight to there.
Right.
right, but realistically, you don't have, I mean, there's no, do we have hydro numbers here?
So that was the other thing.
Yeah, there's no-
If she has water, she could actually bring it back to
Exactly,
10.5
so-
feet here.
Right, so we'd have to recite it. I mean, really, we would work on it. We'd take a look at the water depths, figure out where the most appropriate place is to
Mhm.
site it, and then figure out how it actually works. So we can't play so fast and loose with this, in reality.
Yeah, no,
We can
understand.
we can work on this, but
Okay.
we need some information. So if there's prior permit, then we need to look at that and figure that out. If we can't locate a satisfactory prior permit,
Mhm.
then we need to work with, the hydrographic mapping here and then figure out how this works so that you can get a floating dock
Okay,
at your house. But we gotta go through the steps. Step one is let's try and locate the historical permit and figure out what makes sense, and then we'll go from there.
is that something that I can email to you?
James? Yeah.
Yeah?
An advisory letter on this, or no?
No,
It's just for the ramp and the float.
yeah, it's
Okay,
not,
good.
we don't need.
All right, so that's out of,
Yeah, no,
it's
so,
good.
Like, you're not reconstructing the pier, right?
No, or the ramp, the ramp.
Good.
Oh, the ramp is there.
No, the ramp is
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
So it's just the
Aluminum one
floats.
is fine, it's
It
just the
just
floats,
had,
which
so
is
if you
going
go
fine.
back to the one you just had up,
I think this is yours.
The plans.
you have to make sure that's 10 feet off the property line.
It's to-
So you might have to angle it the other way.
Yeah, see,
So
That's-
that it's,
The float, the end of the float and the whole structure need to be 10 feet
Right.
off the
Right,
property
which is-
line.
they are.
And that's.
The
so-
extended property line, so
Yeah,
if you
so I don't-
extend this
Extended
property line out.
Into the water.
right,
Oh.
so I think, yeah.
But
Property line doesn't
again,
need
if you
No.
have a permit for where
we-
the
we-
location.
permitting.
ah,
We really,
We own the bottom. Got it.
we need to
Yeah, we
find,
have a few
we need
things.
this paperwork. We
Okay.
don't have all the paperwork needed to go to the next step with this. We need this paperwork.
okay,
All
so
right.
I will
We gotta
send
do research.
James to you, the
Permit.
beyond the permit, what else can I
Well,
provide for you?
that's gonna be really
Starting
telling us
point.
what the next steps are gonna be.
Okay.
Let us look at that first.
Okay,
Make a determination from that. That's gonna show us what the pathway is gonna be moving forward.
okay,
All right, that's what has to happen next,
all right,
okay?
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And you have tape up or something around that now, or cones? I would do something along those lines.
I've got some bungee cords. blocking it off,
Okay.
so nobody can go.
What is it, just a couple of boards that have popped off there?
Looks like it's one for
The,
sure,
but there's a second
loose.
one that I didn't photograph, I mean, the whole thing's just,
Maybe just screw in a piece of non-treated, material.
Yeah.
The same, non-treated, not CCA or ACQ, just a non-treated piece of,
I think the
for
rest of them are
safety.
going to.
I understand, yeah, well, you gotta deal with it, but you
Yeah,
don't want
yeah,
somebody to
yeah.
get hurt on the thing.
Exactly right, exactly right.
You don't wanna get, and the way you have that whole float system there, it looks a little.
No, well, that was the point of the picture. A storm in January knocked it off kilter so that the gangplank, I've pushed the gangplank over now so that both wheels are back on the dock, and we've screwed a 2x4 in to keep it from sliding off the
right.
other way. But
Gotcha.
that's, so the danger is, we're holding together with Band-Aids right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
gotcha, good. All
Okay.
right, so you know what to do.
Thank you very
All right, the
much.
next step. Thank you. All right. Stephen LaSalla, 29 Ogden. That's land use. And I don't see anybody here from land use. We really need an explanation on this one. What do you say, James?
Yes.
So I'm gonna put this one on hold until, I guess Dan Hall's handling this, right?
Yeah.
Let's put that on hold until Dan Hall gets here. Let's go to the next one. I got James Vincent Warner, 31 Canoe Place Road, Hampton Bays, handling this one for the Warner family. Edward is recused on this, and he's not here.
But neither is End Consultants?
They're striking out.
I know, but let's see, this is a maintenance dredge.
Yeah, this is actually not it's a renewal, but not a renewal. They went through all their renewals, so this is a new application
So
for
it's
what
pretty
they've
simple.
done in the past.
It's maintenance dredging of a privately owned bottom boat basin, approximately 89 cubic yards to be dredged.
Where's the spoil go?
Goes upland.
Upland. Two
Same
designated
property.
spoil areas, as
Up
depicted on the plan that was approved by the DEC.
Yep. So it's adjacent to the,
Right, I see the spoil areas there. Got A and B, so,
and then B's up here.
and it's been approved 5 times already. Just, obviously, when you hit the final renewal, you have to submit a new application, but I don't see any issue with it at all. It's gotta be done. I mean, my advice is to advance it.
Okay, I'm fine with it. You okay with it, Bill?
Looks okay.
You good, Ann?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's advance that.
94 Poison Avenue, Twin Forks. Lisa, come on up.
How are you, Lisa?
Lisa, how you doing today? How's all the dogs good?
Yes.
That's good, then we can continue. So what are we doing here today?
The owner is looking to replace, pretty much in kind in place, the bulkhead that's on the property. It's partially bulkheaded, and then there's a section that is not. He's not touching that area at the moment, as far as shoreline. It's at the very top of Taylor's Creek area, and we'd like to replace it with another wooden, untreated bulkhead.
Not plastic.
Does not like the look of the vinyl.
Okay.
So he's willing to pay for the wood.
Okay.
What about the buffer?
We can propose a buffer. I don't think
Do
there's
you need a
anything else.
buffer, yeah?
Yep.
That's a pretty long stretch of bulkhead too, so we definitely need a buffer there.
We can do the standard 10-foot wide.
Yep.
Yeah, there's like a semi-buffered already on it now.
There is a small section of an upper bulkhead, not bulkhead, but an upper retaining wall. He wants to
Yeah.
incorporate that into the total bulkhead. It's about a foot behind
Yeah.
the bulkhead, so that way we'll just carry it up to the same elevation.
Wait, can we see a picture of that?
Say that again.
What's that?
Can we see a picture of the retaining wall behind the bulkhead that's
So-
going
so-
to, so the elevation of the bulkhead is gonna
I
be
think they were submitted-
increased?
Some photographs. It's only about,
It's not too deep up in there.
no,
Just look.
it's not the entire length of the bulkhead, it's,
Yeah, it's only like It's not very long.
20 feet long.
Yeah, if that.
So you have the
wanna-
bulkhead, and then you have step back 1 foot, and
Yeah,
another.
it doesn't go to the whole length.
No, it's another small section of a retaining wall that's only about 20 feet in length.
So what's the difference of the height?
Is there any bulkhead on the adjacent properties? Do you know?
I do not know. I want to say it's probably about 8 inches. It's not a significant distance. But in order to just combine those two together into one continuous
So,
run,
yeah, so if you do that, that's a lot of fill you gotta bring in.
I can have someone calculate the fill.
Yeah, or you gotta just leave it up high and leave.
Or he can just leave it the way it is and just reconstruct that upper retaining wall
and
where it
put
is.
Can you go overhead shot on that, please?
Mm-hmm. It's shown on the plan.
Yeah, I'm trying to like get a good angle shot here so I can
Yeah.
try and visualize a little better.
Exactly,
I
me
can
Yeah,
too.
submit
looking at it.
additional
It's hard
photographs
to-
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really see what's going on here with
Yeah.
the pictures that are here, so
No.
I don't know.
Plus, there's a lot of poison ivy there too.
Yes.
Right, so you're gonna have to
I think
make
it's too close.
calculations anyway, like
Okay,
cubic
that's
yardage
fine.
and stuff, so why
Yeah.
don't you take another look at this? Make your cubic yardage calculations, take a look at the other option of maybe reconstruction or retaining wall, and then get some different shots maybe.
Okay, I'll resubmit them back to the board.
Yeah. That
Okay.
way-
Yeah, and then this way, when you come back, we'll be able to get a better handle on what, now, do you have permits from the state yet for this?
We are still pending with the state. We have Army Corps and Department of State.
Okay.
For what height? Do they give you a height or no height?
They gave us the permit to combine the two.
Okay.
And the DEC it's stuck in marine habitat.
Okay.
I believe, just their standard review.
All right, get us some more shots, get us some calculations, get us some more information so that
Sure.
we can figure, you know.
Go back.
Yeah, and then,
Some-
what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, we can do that. You can take another look at it.
Can
Okay.
you remove that
Yeah.
last sentence to the property is improved with an existing thing?
Sure.
Detached
It
garage.
should be, after that, should be pretty simple.
Just back, yeah.
Okay.
And whatever photos you can get of the
Yep.
retaining wall.
Right, and then you know what you do is, while you're at it, put whatever buffer language it is that you wanna
Yep.
Okay.
include on that, on the cover sheet, that way we won't have to deal with that when you get here.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that, because there's still more calculations needed here,
Okay. No
all right?
problem.
Great, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
All right. Now we got trustee Warners. We got Susan Lodato, 32 East Montauk Highway, Hampton Bays, Jeffrey Pitanjo. Let's see if I can find his stuff. 302E, right here. I'm gonna try and shepherd through trustee Warner's stuff today. Okay, so this we have, remove and replace 160 linear feet of existing bulkhead with new vinyl in the same location, asking for a raise of 18 inches above the existing top cap. A new untreated composite top cap will be installed. Wants to bring in 60 cubic yards of clean sand fill from upland sources and place landward of the proposed bulkhead to raise the grade. Trustee Warner is not here, obviously, nor is the applicant's agent.
I think you should put that on hold, 'cause that's right. That's right along, we have, it's where Shinnecock Road is.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures just that are in this file. I definitely agree with trustee Pell, this should go on hold. We should have the applicant's agent here.
Yep.
At the very least, we should have trustee Warner here.
Yep.
And my suggestion to the board is that the complexity of this application requires it to be on hold at this point in time. Okay? All right. South Shore Yacht Properties LLC, Newtown Road in Hampton Bays is the next one coming up.
He's not here, you.
I don't see that applicant's agent here either.
First Coastal's here.
He's not on this one, but he's up next. All right, you want to maybe put this one on hold, and since First Coastal is here, and
Yeah.
maybe their other applicant's agent will be here. Let's go to, James, if you don't mind, let's go over to the next one, since Billy Mack is here. Let's
8
make use
Russell.
of This time, let's go to Pink Ginger Limited at 8 Russell. See you sitting here, and you're on time and ready, so
Here.
let's jump on
Believe
it.
it.
Let's get on it for you.
Is there a lot of
Morning,
traffic?
everybody.
A few minutes late.
Is there a lot of traffic, Billy?
There was a fair amount of traffic, yes.
A lot of water yesterday.
A lot of water.
I don't think the traffic's very fair.
No,
It's not fair.
fair does not believe in fair. Billy Mack, First Coastal,
Good morning.
morning. So this is an application to do some repair work on an existing rock wall that was installed shortly after Sandy.
With
And-
permits?
With permits, yeah.
Okay.
And it just got hit really bad with that last December storm.
December 23rd.
Yeah, so some of the rocks moved around and it lost some fill behind it. So we're just looking to do some repair to that, bring in a small amount of fill to make, to backfill it, as well as some rock material to just make it more uniform.
Do you have the do we have the permit for that, James? Because I'm just seeing that's the
I don't have
only.
it, I don't think it's in the file, but do you have a copy by any chance?
No, I think that was originally permitted from Marty, and then the advisory letter said to go to you guys.
All right. So
Because-
can we get a copy
I
of
don't
that?
think we, did- I don't
Things-
think we asked for an advisory letter.
Things done
Did we?
after Hurricane Sandy
I
or
don't
sometimes.
believe
A little
did,
fast
but-
and loose.
Yep, and it's the only rock revetment in that whole stretch of beach.
The adjacent
So-
property was built as well. You can't really see it just immediately south. It's, there is a rock wall there. This photo's old, but it is exposed now.
The adjacent property?
Yeah, well, there's a right of way in between.
Was there anything on in the permit to keep the rocks covered and stuff like that?
I
Is that full?
No,
So
I think
let's
it
do the
was-
same thing like we did with the other one that we had on Dave's Creek, where there was a historical, another permit. Let's get that permit. Let's
Okay.
take a look at that permit.
Yep.
Yeah, James, you
It
say
is
something?
above me now, or should I do an advisory letter?
I thought you guys already did this. Somebody in my office said that you guys
We
already
did?
did an advisory letter.
Maybe
it
for
was
a
Not in-
different,
It's not in here,
maybe
so.
for a different property?
It might
Is
have
it
been
touching,
for the
is this
one
thing
south,
touching, when,
But
you know what, without
It's
trustee Warner here.
Pretty far above mean high water, it looks like, from your plan.
On the, yeah, but I really want to consult with Edward on this, to go down there and take a look to see if it's not, because we've had situations
It's
where,
8 feet.
Above mean high water?
we've had situations where, on paper, it looked like one thing, but in practice, it was something different. So, I think that this one also, I want to wait for trustee Warner to be here, but I think we also need, we need this other permit information.
okay.
So I think those two
I don't
things
have
put this
anything
on
in the
hold for
file to
today.
help, so it would make sense to put on hold, and I'll get that additional information.
Yeah,
for you.
let's look at that. Let's let, trustee Warner had an emergency pop up on him today. And I want to be respectful and sensitive to that, because I'd like his input on this. It's his area for a long time.
Totally understand.
So let's look at the historical permit, and then let's look at what he's got to say input-wise.
Good, and I have one or two later, so I'll
Turn
come back
down
to
your
those.
volume. Turn down your volume.
Huh?
Turn down your volume. There.
What's going on?
Where is it?
I think Charles is practicing in the other room.
Background.
Charles is practicing his next set. at the,
Sorry, Billy.
That's all right. I'll come back to you. Well, we're putting this on hold unless you want to do it right now.
No, yeah, let's do that. While you're sitting here,
Okay.
if you don't mind, trustee Welker,
Sure.
while we have
Yep.
him here.
80 Cobb Holdings,
Yeah.
80 Cobb Isle Road, Watermill. So we asked, this is a replacement to legalize and in-place replacement of an existing dock. 4x86 existing wood catwalk was replaced in place with open grate through flow decking and untreated wood materials. There's some configuration of the fixed ramps, and a reduction by a foot in the length of the catwalk, and then a replacement of a floating dock as well. But Billy, maybe you want to go through this because
Yeah.
it's fairly.
Sure, this was oddly, there's some history on this, that the trustees permitted this back in the 90s for the previous property owner at a longer length. I think it was 117 feet overall. And I don't understand the reasoning, but it said when he sold the property that it had to go back to 100-foot overall length. And it's in the files there somewhere. But this property was sold, repairs were done in either before or after the new owner purchased this, which was not too long ago, and we're looking to just legalize those repairs. The repairs that were done, as noted on site, were non-treated lumber was used for the posts, and Douglas fir was used for the framing, and the decking, they did install the through-flow decking.
So basically it was replaced.
It was
not
replaced, yeah.
Not repaired.
Yeah, the
So-
decking was, yes.
Everything.
And it was shortened at the same time. So, which was convenient, because when I went through the history on this, I don't know, they must have lost that seaward section that made it longer and just shortened it. Conveniently, it ended up a foot shorter than what the trustees permitted it to be back in the 90s.
But under the prior owner, and you're saying that it was,
I just gave the old permit because you were good enough to put a copy of it in the,
Oh, good, yeah.
in the application. I just gave it to Mark to take a look at it. There is still a jet ski float there.
That has,
And that will,
from my
that will go.
understanding, that's been
Pretty sure
removed.
It has been removed. It was still there when I was there Thursday.
Yeah,
Wednesday, last week.
I was told that they're either moving it today or was
Okay.
removed over the weekend, so
Okay.
I told them that had to happen.
Okay.
here, look at this.
Thank you.
The other thing was that we had requested, if you see let's see, Trustee Pell, you have the plans, right?
Sure.
Number 6 and 7 on the plans, we requested be removed. Number 6 says that it conforms with building code, and we wanted to be clear that it's Trustee Blue Book regulations, not building code, that applies in this case. And number 7, given that this dock was completely replaced, not repaired, we wanted that language also removed from the plans. And that states now that there will be repairs made if necessary, but given
Yeah.
that there was liberty taken, so we put it
Yeah,
kindly
no, and that's,
with the
we actually had
repair.
a conversation with our engineer about that, and his view is that he wants to make sure that coastal structures like this, and everybody can understand and appreciate, remain under repair, so they function properly. But I understand that you need a permit to undertake certain repairs, and that would be obviously implied.
Well, yes, but from my understanding, the Blue Book language was that if there was damage, that was, James, you'll have to help me with the percentage, I think it was 10%.
That's, I believe that's out of the.
We wrote that
But
out.
that was
Yeah.
completely, so there's no repairing without permit
Yes, and that's-
process, so
that's
I just
totally
want to
understood.
be.
And
Clear on
the,
that.
you know, this is the battle between the engineer. He wants to make sure that whatever he stamps, somebody realizes that they're gonna keep it in repair.
So just,
So-
if it could just be changed to permit, or
Yeah, as
a-
a permit,
yeah.
as required
Something
by
along
permit.
those lines,
Sure,
that's
sure,
fine,
sure.
because I get what he's saying,
Okay.
that's totally fine.
That's a perfect way around it.
We're still waiting for an as-built fee, correct, too?
Oh, we got it.
Oh, we got that?
Right, that was the other thing we needed, the as-built fee, because this was submitted as a new application.
So it's, all in all, it's, I think, a foot shorter than was originally permitted in the 90s.
Right, and this is the original permit, if you're interested in that. But I think that,
And in compliance with what the board's wishes were upon the sale of the property. So it's a
Exactly.
foot shorter of that number.
Yeah,
So
and
it
now
was
it's,
longer, came back in, and it's a foot shorter than that. So
and it's all 100% compliant materials.
that's good.
and the jet ski float is gone or going,
Yeah.
because that was the other concern when I
Yeah,
visited
that's
the
not the
property.
current property owners, and he said, yeah, he
It's fine.
wants to get rid of it either way.
But I think, James, given that the issues that we had with it have been addressed,
Did we get the new plans, or did you submit new plans with the, no, because we just talked about it, so.
with the changes to number 6
Oh,
and
to
7.
the notes.
The notes,
Yeah, we'll submit that,
Okay.
and we can submit that this week.
okay. Good, then I think we're okay with this otherwise.
Yeah, we'll
unless
just say,
anyone-
permit required
Yes,
with respect to.
for
any-
repairs.
And those
For
plans
any-
need to be stamped up too.
Yeah,
so.
right, yeah. So unless anyone has any questions or concerns, I'd,
You want to advance it?
yep,
Okay.
pending receipt.
Of the updated.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Do you have anything else, Billy?
Yes, he does.
Oh, he's got a couple things, so he's got, thanks.
We have 183 South Country Road, David Manuel Mello. This was on the last meeting.
Oh, right, okay, so this we made a couple changes to.
Yes.
We updated the details on the plan to specify the width of the third portion of the canal.
Yeah, on the original plans, you didn't have a mean high water on the other side, so we couldn't get a distance, for the 1/3 rule.
we clarified
It
that.
shows now 143 feet is a third for each one, and he's at that.
Mhm.
It's a fixed dock, so he doesn't need the water depth.
Is there a ladder on it?
Supposed to be one.
There should be. I'll make sure that that is included. I don't see it
No, I
here.
don't see a ladder.
Yeah.
Might be stairs.
I will include a ladder. One other thing we did is we shortened the overall length, just out to 6 feet, because it seemed like it was, didn't need to be that long. The owner was like, why do I need it that long?
You shortened the length
So it's
out
6,
into the
yeah,
water?
the updated plans are, for 16 feet, is that, oh, it is, it's the same. Okay, never mind. Take it back.
And we did get a letter back
Advice-
from the
Advisory.
Conservation Board, and they have no objections.
So we need to show a ladder on here.
Otherwise, I think it's okay. Any other questions?
Nope.
So you just
Good,
go
James?
Nope, just stamp plans
Yep.
With the ladder.
with the ladder.
Okay. And I think that is it. Is that it?
One oh,
Nope.
one more,
One more?
104 Point Road,
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Ross.
Got a lot on here.
I do, don't I?
Yep.
At least you guys are paying attention.
Keeping track of you?
Exactly.
Next is 104 Point Road, Village of West Hampton Beach. Roger Ross.
Right, so this is a bulkhead in Pond Point, very old. And looking for a replacement, reconstruction.
You want to increase it 18 inches,
We always ask for that.
but you never get it.
We never get it. I have a strong feeling about this. Now is the time to be building these structures more resilient because they're built for 50 years. And in 20 years, that 8 inches we'll get or 6 inches we're gonna get is not gonna be enough. So,
Yeah, but you still gotta take into consideration, you know, the surrounding topography and what's going on elevation-wise, because you could actually make a problem that for the next 20 years is gonna give the owner a headache. So I still think you gotta look at these things site-specific, you know.
What do the neighbors
Is that-
have?
the neighbors, one is in line with this and the other one's probably about 6 inches higher.
So the neighbor, in line with what's there now,
Yeah.
how is that a new or old bulkhead?
That is, it's got new decking on it. I can't tell the age of the bulkhead.
So we can't go up too high because he might not be in for.
Yeah,
Yes.
but, I mean, my theory is a lot of these guys within 20 years are gonna be going higher. So, this, you know.
But but even just like, look at this picture, right? So to get it really right with going with that number, what's the fill calculation that comes in to make that all work out? Otherwise, you just have a big wall there, right? So you gotta look at that as well. So if you wanna go 18, what's the fill calculation look like? And how does that work with, up against the adjoining properties? 'Cause that's a lot of fill, right?
Well,
So-
over 100 feet, that's 10 feet, it's, you know,
Right.
25,
And
30 yards.
right, so you have to figure out where all the drainage goes and how that all works, and how does that work with the house and any other structures, you know. So if you just, you know, broad brush 18, you really, you know, you open up a lot of additional questions.
No, I get it.
In reality, you know what I mean? So you can't just say, okay, you know, do 18, and then you're like, okay, well, now what do we do? You know what I mean?
But it's flood protection wise, and the fact that this gets overtopped
But it's
frequently,
gonna come
I would-
around the other side, and now you're gonna have all this water trapped behind that 18-inch wall, which is gonna create another issue. So it's like a big, you know, it's a bigger conversation when you're just gonna raise everything around by 18, in dealing with the ramifications that it causes, not only to the potential adjoining property owners, but that property owner, if it doesn't work with the proper grading and fill, and the other structures that are located there. So, you know, that's why I think, you know, it makes sense, to your point, you know, relative to the fact that you want there to be rhyme and reason, and you're thinking on the forward looking, you know, to figure out, well, you know, really, this would work if we pitch this way, and, you know, you gotta make it bigger than that if we're just gonna go in that direction. It's gotta be a bigger conversation.
I mean, to your point, Scott, an even bigger conversation is, Billy, Harbor Road, Bay Road, Point Road,
Mhm.
those flood,
Every high tide.
right? Like the whole
Every-
access to this property out on this point is
horribly low.
tenuous at best.
And when they built this, back in the, you know, whatever,
50s,
late
60s.
50s, right? Obviously, they weren't thinking about tide increase. Okay, and even bulkheads that we built 10 years ago, we weren't even factoring building it higher because nobody was concerned about it. Now we're aware, now we're concerned about it, and now is the time to do something about it.
Well, were people really thinking about, when they were building out Suffolk County, that, you know, just putting the, you know, waste next to the drinking water was gonna create harmful algal
Now they
blooms
know
and
better.
degraded water quality in our bays?
Somewhere.
Right?
And-
But general, and still, so, you know, there's a gigantic, massive conversation to be had here.
To your
But-
point, now we know
Right.
that the tides are rising
Right.
exponentially, not linearly. It's
Right.
exponential, so now's the time to do this.
It is, but the answer's not just, you know, have at it, because
Well,
now
it's
you're
not.
creating other
We're-
issues.
we're
Because
restricting
you
it to-
still have to look at other factors that are going on the property, you know what I mean? You can't just, you gotta look at
I
the
get
whole
it.
thing. Bring in the fill amount, what's this, what, you know, now you gotta have a much bigger conversation
Yeah.
if you wanna get it right. I'm not saying let's not have it, it's just that that's what has to happen, we
Can I
can't just.
interrupt?
Sure you can.
So let's make it lower so we can continue.
All right, tell me what you guys feel comfortable with.
Well, what, what makes sense on the property? I mean, you're the
What makes sense to
applicant.
me, we read the flood models, 2.5 feet makes sense to us.
Okay, so how's that gonna work with all the fill you're bringing in? Is that an application?
No, well, the fill, we can calculate that out, that's not a big number. But I know you guys aren't here to approve that. What you guys are here to approve is something that you can live with. So tell me what you can live with.
How high is the neighbor?
Neighbor's about 6 inches.
And that's brand new? How old is that?
No, the brand new one is about, not brand new, it's probably about at least 8 years old, or 10 years old.
Is there any
It's
better
level.
pictures?
I'd like to know exactly what the difference
Yeah,
is
so this
Yeah.
one there,
between
and
the
this,
two properties and
here's some
the
adjacent.
subject.
This one here shows the adjacent property of, it looks like it's 6 inches plus 2 inches
Thanks.
is what I'm factoring. Here, that's the
So-
one adjacent property that is higher.
Right.
And that's the older bulkhead. The newer one is flush with this and the same elevation.
Flush.
Yeah,
was
and that was built
permitted.
probably, I wanna say 10 years ago. Again, when nobody was concerned about
Sorry,
height of
Charles.
bulkheads.
Right, so,
And I think
Is there
So
any-
the one to the east is the newer one?
Newer,
And-
yes.
And this one, it was probably built in the 60s? It's timber, the whole
Yeah,
thing's
then it's
timber,
all
right?
CCA, so it's probably 70s, yeah.
this is new.
Oh, thank you.
James, did you request?
This is new.
Yeah, Trustee Pell asked to
I
put
said
the
it was
AC
AC.
on, and I guess the AC's not working, so we get a fan.
Block out.
In other words, Trustee Walker, I think they want to evict us out of this building.
They're running out of patience.
Goodness gracious.
Turning off the AC
Yeah.
in the middle of your meeting.
So, is there any other pictures of this showing,
These four are the only ones we have.
And other than the ones that I'm giving you
Three.
right now.
right?
So the one on the west is probably, I wanna say it's about 8 inches. The one on the east is flush.
And that's the newer bulkhead.
Yeah.
Which
It
is
was built about
interesting.
10 years ago. I mean, I'll go back to the owner with whatever you guys want.
Well, we're trying to figure out what's gonna, what's gonna work here,
I come about it in a very different perspective with respect to flood protection.
But but let's look at this. I mean, if you had an 18-inch, wall running from there all the way across, we have to deal with what's going on behind it. So water's gonna get behind that
And beside it.
and beside it, yeah, so how are we gonna do that?
Well, over time, the rest of those bulkheads are gonna be different. Just as this one has been sitting as it is for, 30-plus years. So those bulkheads, especially the one to the west, that's an old CCA one, I'm sure that's due for replacement at one point, or reconstruction.
How high is the house? That's what I was asking. How high is this house? What's the other structures that are on this property?
All the houses are,
Elevated.
Poles.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that area.
Yeah.
Everything there's.
And it's to
elevated.
minimize you can see the soil loss right there very obviously from overtopping waves.
But there's a significant fetch here, and on a nor'easter, it gets hammered.
It does.
And there's no marsh to protect it in the immediate area. Or seagrass, probably. Actually, there might be seagrass.
In areas, where you see Irene and Sandy, where you had, deep-rooted native vegetation that go over top, they held up pretty good. In areas where they used it like just sand, beachy type areas, they look like that. So
Mhm.
it's like a combination with the deep-rooted native vegetation and the bulkheading to help attenuate the energy. So there's all types of strategies, but it's, like I said, it's a much bigger conversation.
Why don't we inspect it this week? I'll meet you out there and you can
Okay.
try to convince me.
Okay.
You need buffer
Yeah.
language too.
Yeah, you need
Buffer language, yeah.
You have it on the plans, but you don't have it on the application. You have a 10-foot wide, non-disturbance
And that would-
buffer with clean sands.
Right, and that would probably, with the limited amount of fetch in that area, it would be the most helpful to offsetting that loss of soil in that area.
Okay, yeah, I'll be happy to meet Bill whenever you want.
Beautiful.
Cool.
You had a lot on here.
Is that it?
Well, the rest of it is just us to look at moving
Oh,
forward.
yeah,
That's just,
after.
that's a different section of our meeting, we'll deal with that. As long as you
Okay.
sent in all the stamp plans and
We
all.
gave you back your pictures, right?
Damn. Hanging out in this room.
Yes.
You're right, it's a little warm. Thank you guys
All right,
very
buddy.
much.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
Bye, Billy. Have a good day.
Land use is here. don't know
I
if
see
you wanna
that.
Go back up to.
I do, that's why I was looking at him, I'm like,
29
come on up here.
29 Ogden.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. How are you all doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Very well.
We were waiting for you,
I thought it was right on time, but.
but then the traffic got you.
Yeah.
All right, so we're good with the float. We kind of looked at the float situation and.
Right.
But the,
Yeah,
What we're doing is reducing the width of the walkway behind it.
yeah, just
So-
explain, go below the walkway,
Yeah, can you explain, because we've had issues with this property, I guess you guys, this is the second modification.
Right.
And the first modification was to reduce the walkway, to reduce the fees, and then now it's another modification to reduce.
This was because of the village. The village wanted it 4-foot wide.
Okay.
Walkway.
Okay.
So, hence we're here.
All right.
To reduce it. The 10-foot buffer still stays 10 feet.
Okay.
Just the walkway's getting reduced, and as you say, the ramp and the float.
It's fine.
We're dredging it to 4 feet.
That's fine.
so-
Yeah, the ramp and the float is fine internally there, that's
Right.
all good. It's just, we just had questions on this walkway.
Yeah, no, that's the only reason, because, because we have to go before the trust,
Village,
as well.
yeah.
So, is the walkway the length of the bulkhead? Or
Just where it's shown.
I could,
Yeah, so it's not the total length, right?
Right, correct.
It's just that area relative to the rest of it.
And remember, there's another property
Right.
that's part of the dredging
right,
next.
The
That's why it
adjacent
gets
property.
kinda
And it's only 4
confusing,
feet
to
too.
the east.
Yes.